Congratulations! You've just taken delivery of one of the most advanced and controversial electric vehicles in the US market, the 2025 Mercedes-Benz G580 with EQ technology. That's a long name. It's better known as the EQG or the G580e. This isn't just any EV. It's an all-electric G-Wagon, a symbol of luxury, status, off-road dominance, and now zero-emissions power. And that's a bigger change than you might expect. Until very recently, the iconic G-Wagon was only available in the US market with a V8 powertrain. The 2024 G-Wagon saw the introduction of the W465 generation, and with this update came lots of modernization. Wireless CarPlay is finally here for the whole lineup. There's a new inline 6 powering the G550. The G63 gets a host of new upgrades, and in the middle, we have the creation of something entirely new, a G580e. And this has never been done before. It's a quad motor behemoth that gives you all the performance of an AMG with none of the guilt, none of the emissions. Will this make the purists happy? No, absolutely not. But it's not for the purists. This is for the forward-thinking off-roaders. But let's be honest, this thing is just as much about tech as it is off-roading. In fact, this is packed with so much tech that it can feel overwhelming. Where do you even start? Maybe you're coming from a gas-powered G-Class and wondering, where's the rumble? Or maybe you're an EV enthusiast who's curious about how this thing handles, or if this electric tank even lives up to all of the hype. Well, in this 90-minute deep dive, we're going to cover everything, from the basics like voice control and range optimization, to the hidden off-road goodies, luxury features, and some quirks that you'd only discover after months of owning this car. Because here's the thing. Not every Mercedes owner can take time out of their busy schedule to go to the dealership and get a lesson on how to use their new car. Depending on how you got your car in the first place, a detailed lesson might not even be an option. And that's a shame, because if no one shows you how all of it works, you might miss half of the fun parts, or worse, you might get stuck trying to figure out why your car won't stop talking to you. But I'm here to help you through all of that. Whether you're the proud new owner, a curious fan, or someone who just loves cutting-edge automotive technology, stick around. By the end of this guide, you'll know this SUV better than the Mercedes engineers who built it. Let's get started. But first, this video was made possible by the friendly people at Crown Eurocars, proudly serving the Tampa Bay, St. Pete area for more than 60 years now. We are your Mercedes superstore. We offer premium used cars and pickup trucks and exotics that you can't find anywhere else. See the link in the description. Now back to the video. Tony Cintron here, and I'm in the brand new 2025 G580e, and the big elephant in the room, besides the size of this car, is that this is the electric G-Wagon. They made an electric version, and they made it look exactly like the gas version, and it is a phenomenal car. The ride is great. It feels exactly like its ICE counterpart, except it's much faster. In fact, this is almost as fast as the G63, which costs about 20 grand more. And it's also 20 grand more than the base 550, which is now switched to an inline 6. I think this is a really good buy for someone interested in this kind of off-road, tanky kind of SUV vehicle. This is a status buy, really. Let's be clear. This car can do anything in terms of off-road performance. It can drive straight up a mountain if it needs to. But most of these on the road are never going to get dirty. But we're going to talk first and foremost about its electric capability. First thing I want to address here is we're going to be operating this car as if we already have our Mercedes Connect software set up. This is going to be pretty top down. We are also going to talk about this car as if you have never been in one before. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our profile selection item, make sure we select the user. The user is our account, and going to type in the PIN. 1 second. And we're going to start the process, of course. Just like any of these videos, we're going to go through our setup assistant, hit start. First question for you in this car, because we don't have the automatic high base seat positioner, is if you want to do access protection. We're going to say no. Name change, of course, name. Then suggestions, and of course just skip that. No address needed. We're going to do current position. Phone connection, that's of course going to be one of the last things, and then voice recognition for the profile. So all good there. Now we are in our profile, and so this is how you'll be seeing it if your car was set up by a dealer. And worth mentioning, this is the MBUX 2.0 system in this car. So we have the same icons that you might see in a GLE, GLS, and we have the same touchpad and shortcut system that you'll see in a GLE, GLS. So you have navigation, radio and media, EQ, so your battery management system, instead of a telephone button. And that's because your phone's right there. You have this touchpad, controls everything on this screen. It works in addition to this touchpad right here on your steering wheel that controls everything as well. Pretty easy to use there. We're going to start first and foremost with the elephant in the room. This car has a big fat EQ right on the home screen. That means that this is going to be where you manage your battery. Simply go here. You can, of course, choose your charging level, maximum 100%. And if you want to limit your range, you can go all the way down to 50%. And you do this to maximize battery life. It's an old line of thinking as far as EVs are concerned now, because most people lease this. This car is warranted for 10 years, 155,000 miles, but most people are just going to lease it. Not really anything to worry about. And most people are going to be charging this at home. It can only go about 200 miles. It says 252 is your max. And that maximum range is really going to depend on how you drive, where you drive, how fast you're going. But most people report getting about 200 miles. And the interesting thing that you can do on the EQ menu is manage how your car charges. You can go to home program, you can have a standard program and a work program, and you can modify each one based on your location and wherever you want it to unlock the charging cable when it's done charging. But there's no option here for charging pauses, which is unfortunate. It's in the other EQs. And charging pause is the feature that lets you plug your car in at 6 o'clock and delay charging until 12 o'clock if you wanted to do off-peak charging. Maybe they figured that the average buyer of the G-Wagon is not limited to such things, and so no need for it. But still, it's a shame to see here. Or see not here, I should say. But in this EQ menu, you have your charging optimization, you have your range optimization, which just lets you restrict certain functions. If you wanted to get the most range, you could restrict some interior functions. You can go into eco climate control, or you can do all of this. Your car will turn on all of these energy saving measures and let you get your maximum range. One of those options is, of course, turning off the display. Let's turn it back on now. And you can also pick and choose these, or you can dismiss them one by one. Not too bad, right? The last thing to see here, which is really a big nothing burger in my opinion, is consumption. Your consumption for 7 minutes or 90 minutes or 3 hours. Right now, We aren't going anywhere, but we're doing a lot of interior stuff, and so you're going to see a crazy high number. But if you're actually driving, expect it to be a bit lower. Again, this isn't a range monster here. No, that is the EQ menu in a nutshell. And I'm surprised to see some premium features missing that are in our other EQ cars. But what can you do about that, really? Now, let's pause it here. Moving on the home screen, we have navigation. And of course, since we're talking about navigation, can't talk about nav without talking about everyone's favorite voice control. And if you want to use it, super easy. Hey, Mercedes.
Hello, I'm Mercedes, your voice assistant. Would you like to know more about what I can do for you?
Navigate to Toledo, Ohio.
Route guidance to Toledo, Ohio is starting. Please proceed to the highlighted route.
So, our navigation, fun thing, since this is an EV, you have the EQ optimized navigation. That's what this little bit is up here. And this EQ navigation is actually going to do two great things. One, it's going to pull up all the charging stops that you would need to hit along the way. And two, it will actually add the amount of time it'll take to charge the car. So we're looking at an extra 4 hours and 37 minutes.
Charging stations have been added to your route. The route includes toll roads.
We're looking at an extra 4 hours and 37 minutes just for charging stops, and it's useful. And you know, the good news about this is a 2025, so you're no longer limited to charging at Electrify America. This car does not have NACS, it has a standard CCS port, but you can have it stop at Electrify America, you can stop at new Iona stations, and you can also stop at Tesla stations. And your car will find all of the chargers that you need to hit along the way. Factors in the amount of time that it will take to charge, factors in your estimated range for the time. So 26 minutes at Tesla, 10% to 68%. I don't know why I wouldn't just go to 80 or 100, but I think that's the car's system just trying to make sure that we aren't staying anywhere for too long, even though 43 minutes, 86, 37, 80, it's a little inconsistent, but overall, as a total package, it's pretty cohesive. Now, all of this working depends on you having your active Mercedes account, using the Mercedes app, and setting up your plug-in charge. And that's because you can only access these stations with the Mercedes connected charging. If you haven't done this yet, please reach out to us and we can walk you through the steps you need to take to get set up on Mercedes. Me Connect is the old version of the app. The Mercedes Benz app is a new version. And Mercedes Charge Public is the service you need to sign up for in order to get access to all of these charging stations. Yes, you could get by with the ChargePoint app and the EVgo app and the Electrify America app and the Tesla app and the Iona app, but your experience is going to be pretty disconnected. The Mercedes Charge Public service really simplifies your access to it, and if you sign up for Mercedes Charge Public, you also get a free $1,000 charging credit that you can use at all of these stations. These stations only come up because it is set up in the Mercedes app ahead of time to work with these providers. Didn't mean to go on a bit of a rant there, but you get the point. Make sure that you have signed up for the Mercedes app. Make sure that if you have not gone to your dealer about this, you contact us, because we are a dealer here at Crown Eurocars. We can get you connected to the Mercedes app, authorize it from the dealer, and we can walk you through the steps you need to make sure you activate Mercedes Charge Public so you can get access to your $1,000 credit that you can use at all of these providers, and so you can actually go on a road trip with this car. It's not going to be the most convenient thing. Like I said, you're looking at an extra 4 hours if you want to drive from Tampa to Toledo, but it works in a pinch, and it's free. Now, moving on to the general navigation stuff in this car, beyond it being an EV, is you still have your Mercedes connected navigation. It'll show you flow of traffic, work-related incidents, accidents. The only thing it won't tell you is where the cops are. And you can use Apple CarPlay for that if you really want to. Flag with the X, as many of you might know, lets you cancel navigation, and you'll see where to up here. This is where you can type in where you want to go. You can have it take you to your house.
Please follow the arrow on the display.
We're already here. Easy. You can go to your home, you can go to work, and if you go to type in anything, because we have an active Mercedes account with the active subscription, you have Google-based navigation support. In some of our cars, it is more like Google Maps than in others. Quick point of reference is if you see a little 4G up here, then you won't have the full connected service that the 5G cars have. But still, not all of our cars are 5G, and it's not really determined by the price of the car as much as it is where the car is manufactured and with what techniques. So this car, in spite of it being so new and so electric, it still has the slightly older telematics controls in this car. So it's a 4G car. You're not going to have as much capability as a car with 5G, but still, this car is more about capability elsewhere. And we'll get to that in a bit. Moving back on the navigation, just know down here, you have a little charging station locator. You can select this and it will find charging stations in your vicinity. And very important, this is going to bring up all the chargers near you. It's going to show you also how many stations are available and the charging speed. So pretty quickly, 8.6 kilowatts. If you know anything about EVs, you know that that's slow, very slow. 12, slow. We are in the St. Pete area, and so our charging infrastructure is, well, it's kind of lacking, as you can see by the map. But we have a really unique option up here. We can let you filter out weak chargers and medium chargers. So if you only want to see the strong chargers, which your options in St. Pete are limited, it looks like that's just those two options for you right there. But you can go there, and before it was just this one up until earlier this year, and now you have two. You can go to Tesla or Electrify America. It shows you 14 out of 20 available, 1 out of 6 available. And if you have plug and charge set up, you can select one of these chargers, and of course you can go. But if you slide up here and you have MB Charge active, of course, look at that, you can then see which chargers are actually available. And if you were to stop at spot 1D, you can select it and then tell your car to actually start charging. I didn't actually activate MB Charge on this particular car because it's not mine, but if it was active, I could select it and tell the car to start charging automatically. And of course, once I have the charge set, I can just hop out the car, walk up to the plug, plug the car into the adapter and plug it into the car itself, and then it would work. And it's a pretty easy process at Tesla chargers. Just make sure you have MB Charge Public set up. Let's see if I can show you another example with Electrify America, which is everyone's favorite convenience leader. Sarcasm. So, of course, we can go here, we can slide up, we can see our maximum speed, 350 kilowatts, 2 out of 6 are available. Which ones? Well, not number 1, that one's broken. Occupied, occupied, available. Touch that, and then it would give you the option to start charging if you were able to charge. But it's not, because I didn't set up Mercedes Charge in this car, because it's not mine. But I think you get the point there. Set up Mercedes Charge. You'll be able to tell the car directly to charge at that station or any station, and you'll have $1,000 free credit. I gotta make sure I tag my other EV charging update video in here. And of course, you can just tell it to go. And if you live in a place where
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
If you live in a place where preconditioning is required, by using our onboard navigation to navigate to a charging destination, you will start that preconditioning process. So it's going to get your battery to the optimized temperature so you don't have to wait. You don't have to spend more time waiting, I should say. You're still going to have to wait while this thing charges. And that's the name of the game, really. Do you want to pay for gas, or do you want to not? I don't know. Maybe I'll cut that rant off. It doesn't sound that profound. All right. So moving back along, cancel this. Last thing worth mentioning in this menu here, because this is your audio, this is your phone. Up here, we can see our destinations, charging destinations, parking destinations. You can share the journey with other drivers as well. You can send it to your contacts or through the Mercedes app. Searching is up here. Don't need that. Down here, kind of useful. This is navigation settings. And this is if you wanted to not have the car react to your range. If you get low range, your car is going to offer to find you a charging station. You can turn that off. If you also have no desire to take this car on road trips, because if you have money like this probably isn't your only car, so you can turn that off just in case you don't want your car to look for charging destinations. And you can also choose your state of charge at the destination. So if you do want to take this on trips and you have some range anxiety, you can actually do so. Again, it's under settings, state of charge at destination, and you can make it up to 50% or as low as the minimum. We're going to leave it at 10% though. State of charge at charging stations, if you have a charging station as a destination, they say it's minimum. That might be too low for some people, so the next one is 15%. I don't know why there's no 10%, but you can do this. Maybe it should be minimum. Maybe that's okay. This is where you can change it though. This is also where you can tell your car to avoid toll roads, highways, carpool lanes, certain areas, unpaved roads, even though this is a G-Wagon. Unpaved roads should be fine. But still, you can avoid it. And this works the same in all Mercedes navigation, just so you know. You can also choose for your map a satellite view, which is a little busy, and you can turn on and off things like the flow of traffic, augmented reality video. You can turn on and off, and you could choose the content in here. You could do day or night color scheme permanently and see your version of the map as well. As you can see, 24. And you can choose also your volume, your voice control options. If you want it telling you every possible thing, if you want no messages at all, reduced messages or detailed messages, you can do that. That's just going to be how your voice control responds with the navigation. You know, I kind of like the satellite view. Just know that as you get closer and you zoom in more, so let's see if it'll let me. Gonna zoom in here. You kind of lose detail as you get to a certain level. It just looks a little washed out, but it's kind of cool. And it's a little more impactful as you zoom out. And of course, if you get to a certain point, you're only going to get the satellite map. Also, is that the correct phase of the moon? I don't know. Let's bring it back. Boom. Okay, cool. So, that's a navigation for you. Hopefully this wasn't too shaky. And so that's navigation in a nutshell for you in the EQG G580e, whatever you want to call it. Phone connection here is pretty similar to the rest of our cars. Connect the device, make sure that you are on your discovery menu, and then you can choose your device as needed. Once it's already connected, you can have it be a Bluetooth and audio, or you can just have it be your CarPlay device. 3 dots on this side lets you delete these devices as well, just in case you have some people who leave their phones connected in your car. So it's pretty simple there. You could have 2 phones connected at once, only one CarPlay device, just like most of our cars. And once your phone is connected, you can go over to media, listen to music from your phone, or you can do it through smartphone if you have your CarPlay connected to it. Pretty standard there, nothing too mystifying. You also have radio in here, and this is interesting. So, our EVs don't have AM radio. You have Sirius XM and FM, no AM, and that's because I read a thing saying that the frequencies from AM radio, when they combine with the frequencies released by the battery, will produce more static across all frequencies. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I know there's no radio, and that's why. Now, in here, AM is gone. We have FM, Sirius XM. Works pretty similar to the GLE, GLS. You find something you like, sliding until you do. You can hit the star to save whatever station, saves in your favorites. Nothing too mystifying about that. You can pause the radio, you can go next track, previous track. Pretty simple, and worth mentioning, you have the good sound system in this car. That's right, you've got Burmester everything. No sunglasses case, just Burmester. And that means that when you go down here to configure your sound system, not only do you have pure, you have 3D sound, which makes everything sound better. You, of course, have your equalizer, but you have balance and fader, and sound focus, which you can optimize for the front and rear, or all seats, but let's do front. And an interesting thing, you have the personal sound profile here. This is for all of the audio files. If you want to make this sound perfect, perfect is subjective, and we have a quiz. Now, you can use your volume slider to adjust these items up and down. You can also use your physical volume knob. But we're going to ask you just a couple of questions on how you perceive certain sounds. And at the end of it, they're going to look for the way you interact with the bass. They give you this graph at the end. Guys, my phone overheated and ran out of storage. Never happened before, but we're back in business. Gonna work on some of the back end stuff to make sure this works better in the future. Anyway, talking about personal sound profile, this is where you can edit it, reconfigure, but at the end of it, they place you in an equalizer matrix. I like intense music, so it makes sense that it put me here. A little bass focus. The last items you missed were bass characteristics. You have choice between neutral, soft, warm, and punch. Punch and warm are usually the best two. Warm is going to be more for exaggerated bass notes, while punch is good if you like, say, hip-hop. Exaggerated bass notes like dubstep, reggae, it'll be more dragged out and it gives you more depth in the bass, is what I find. If you don't like bass, get out of my face. Just playing. If you don't like bass, neutral or soft will be good for you. You also have your surround sound configuration where you can adjust the intensity of surround sound and also the intensity of a 3D surround sound item. This is basically increasing your vertical sound distribution. If your highs feel higher, if your lows feel lower, and if they feel like they're coming from distinct parts of the car or not. And again, if you listen to more acoustic music or news, this feature might be undesirable. So once you have it set, you can always go back to pure or just standard 3D, and you can go into the personal when you're ready to turn it up. So that is the equalizer in this amazing car. That's the radio, that's the sound system in a nutshell. A couple of things. MB apps is pretty vital for our EVs because you'll actually potentially have some downtime when you're in the car while it charges. So under MB apps, you have a couple of games. You also have, let me just go into some of it for you so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. Some of these games are simple. You have match different pictures. I guess it doesn't work with this controller. Hit play, and then choose a card. So yeah, it's this kind of game. It's little Mercedes pictures. You're matching it. It's not groundbreaking, but it'll help you pass time while you're charging your car. We're gonna quit this. It's interesting that some of these controls don't work with this. We're bringing it down here, but maybe it's just not coded to work with this input method. It's a little strange. Let's see. Touchpad doesn't work. It says touchscreen only. And to me, that means that maybe the touchpad and the touch control, the software behind that, are too old to work with this new software that we've put in these cars. We've had these touchpads for a while now, I think since 2019, but we've only had this software since 2023. But you have your games, you have info, and then you have this, and you only see this on our high-end cars. Energizing Coach, as I understand it, is meant to link with your smartwatch so that it can get your health and fitness data from it and factor it into time that you spend in the car. Because I guess you're burning calories no matter what you do, and you don't want those car calories not to be caught up. Now, this will give you your heart rate, it'll let you know your exercise history, and if you have energizing comfort in this car, that means that under the comfort menu, you're going to have a couple of things. Of course, you have your massaging seats, you have your ambient lighting, your various seat adjustments as well, but you also have energizing comfort in this car. Now, we're going to get to energizing comfort in a second, but the main tie-in here to the energizing coach is training. There are actual exercises that
Muscle activation.
you can do in your car. Little shoulder moves, little butt squelches, little back flexes. You can do some exercises while you're driving the car. And Mercedes, a couple of years ago, introduced this feature to walk you through some exercises. I guess if you live in LA and you spend half of your week in traffic, then this is good for you. If you live in a place without much traffic, this is going to be utter nonsense. But they're going to walk you through some exercises here. And if you are hooked up to the the energizing comfort app in the car, energizing coach, then all of the exercises that you do will transmit to your fitness data. I think there's maybe 2 people who own this car who might do this, but it's a thing. It's kind of cool. Just scan this QR code and Mercedes will have your fitness data. Kind of cool. Let's move on. So last couple of things in MB apps worth mentioning is that you do have a weather app. The weather app I am kind of mixed on, because you pull up the weather and it will eventually pull up a forecast for you. You see how long that took? And you can do different locations and you can have them, and let's see, let's see what it pulls up for Gree. Hopefully it pulls up. No, okay, that's weird. Nothing relevant, but you can still add extra places and you'll see different places. But you know what you can do? Hey Mercedes,
How can I help?
what's the weather in Tampa?
Currently, it is partly cloudy in Tampa with a temperature of 91 degrees. In the evening, it will be rainy with temperatures between 82 and 91 degrees.
What's the weather in St. Pete?
Currently, it is sunny in St. Petersburg with a temperature of 88 degrees. In the evening, it will be sunny with a low of 82 and a high of 88 degrees.
So
What
this
would you-
is so much faster than the built-in weather app that it's kind of just useless. You can still go to your music streaming services here and scan this and it will bring up your music without your phone. But this only works if you have the data plan. Let's see. This remembers my Spotify from a previous video I did about the E-Class technology. And it's kind of cool that once you give Mercedes access to your Spotify, it will remember how to access it forever. So it's kind of convenient there. But as you can see, it doesn't really, do too much, because we don't have the Mercedes data package. Now, if you go up here, 4G, you can see data plan online, select internet access. There's like a trial pack that they give you, but it's not really good for much. And if you go over to browser, then it will actually take you to where you will enroll for the Mercedes hotspot. And this is managed by T-Mobile, mostly because T-Mobile is actually a German company. I bet a lot of Americans didn't know that T-Mobile, trusted T-Mobile, is actually part of Deutsche Telekom. And they have all of the telematics for the Mercedes vehicles around the world, just a contract with them. And that could be, as far as I know, you might have a different provider in China or something, but usually Mercedes partners with Deutsche Telekom. If you have T-Mobile service, you cannot actually add this to your account, but this will let you register for your hotspot drive. Maybe in Germany they let you do that. If you guys are watching this in Germany, please let me know. Chances are I'm completely wrong on the German rules, just because I've never been. Would love to go though. Now, this is the MB apps section in a nutshell. We're gonna move on now. So next to MB apps is the MB store. This is where you can get more apps, and very important distinction, because this is a 4G car, you're not going to see any of the extra games and such that you might see in a 5G car. You're not going to see YouTube Web, or you're not going to see Disney Plus. You see a dash cam you can buy. I'm surprised it's not with it. This is a launch edition, but yeah. This is what you can get with the Mercedes store. You can get access to the dash cam, a really important feature. I have a YouTube short devoted to it. Next to the store is comfort, and we touched on this briefly, but let's go in. First, we have massaging seats for driver and passenger, and you have 8 different programs. This is kind of like how we do our GLE, GLS with massage, and you can call these programs out with your voice. You can say, "Hey Mercedes,
How can I help?
give me a wave massage, please."
I'm starting the wave massage for you.
And hey, it's nice. It's a good massage. Thank you. And if you don't specify, it'll always default to hot relaxing back, which is not great if you live in a hot climate, but it is what it is. You have different ones. The active workout ones, you can either have it focus entirely on your back or entirely on your bottom, depending on what you want. It's nice to get a butt rub every now and then from your $200,000 car. But you can call these out by voice. It's pretty responsive, and it's a really good massage, actually. I'm enjoying this. Next to massage, you have your seat controls, and pretty simple. This is any multi-contour seat that in our lineup. You have your lumbar support, which you can program on this graph, and then you can save it to your seat by hitting M1. Lock in your seat, of course. You have adjustable side bolsters. You choose the level you want, and then it will adjust how it squeezes you. And hopefully this translates well to the camera. It's not just my stomach expanding, it's actually the chair's sides expanding to meet my stomach. But you can adjust this higher or lower as needed, and when you find the place you like, you simply push M1. Hear the beep, it'll save your lumbar support. It will save your side bolstering settings as well. And if it's ever out of place, all you have to do is hit number 1 and it goes back into place for you. So that's a great little feature. Moving on from the side bolsters, you can also turn on and off your dynamic multi-contour seat. And this is a pretty exclusive feature, actually. Dynamic multi-contour seat is only on the S-Class, and it's only on certain G-Wagon models. It's not in the GLS. You can't buy it with a GLE in this market, only here, and it's a great feature. It's where you make a turn and one side of your chair will inflate to compensate the body roll, so you don't get jostled around by the suspension. You can choose which part of your seat gets warm. You could have it all in the back, all in the butt, or in the middle. And you can also reset everything. Most important, if you make a bunch of weird changes and you don't know which way is up anymore, you can just reset everything. There's a little nice scan graphic. Feel the chair loosening up a little bit. It's really nice. This is also where you can adjust your ambient lighting. You've seen this in other Mercedes vehicles. In these cars, you have your 64 different colors for single colors or monochrome, or you have your 10 different colors for multicolor. And interesting thing they see here for our EV owners is it's not 11. We don't have the energy shine function that exists in the EQE and EQS. So I guess they really are abandoning the EQ scheme and all of the EQ gimmicks. But we still have one big gimmick, and that is energizing comfort. And this is basically the ultimate mood setter in the car. So what energizing comfort will do is, if you choose one of these programs, let's say joy. Well, unfortunately, I chose the wrong one. Vitality. So you play it, it will play a bespoke graphic for you. There will be mood setting music. And the goal of this is to kind of relax you or bring you some vitality. It makes you want to, I guess, get vital. usage case for this is a little strange, if I'm honest, but these will all do something a little different to set the mood in your car. The warmth one, if you turn, it turns on your heated seats. It adjusts the ambient lighting. It plays this warm, hazy graphic. Some warm music, I guess. This sounds warm. And I guess the whole goal here is to bring you a sense of warm comfort in your car. And I'll tell you, the seat warmers work quickly. Now, a couple of extra ones that you get because you have an EV. You have power nap, which this will actually help you take a little nap in your car. It will roll up your windows, play some nice sleepy music, and this is only meant to be used while you're charging the car. So you can take a little power nap, and you can choose the different length of your nap or the different length of any of these programs. Summer Rain is also a newer one. This is good for a nap, but not necessarily exclusive to charging. It's really comforting, a little pointless, really strange if I think about it. Settings here, oh yeah, you only have the music as the setting, so I guess the length of time is only for power nap, so you can determine how long you nap. Yeah, this is energizing comfort. Looks like AI. Alright, not gonna beat this to death, guys. That's the comfort menu right there. If you guys end up using energizing comfort, please let me know what you think of it. It's one of these features I find that I tell lots of people about it, and there's not really much feedback or much traction anyway. The usage case is pretty low for our market. And don't forget, you have your muscle training just in case you want to get a workout in while you're driving. Yeah. So, energizing comfort, part of your comfort menu. Let's move on. And we're moving on to the off-road menu. Now, it's kind of strange that we make such a capable off-roader that people just will not ever take off-road. But we have a dedicated off-road menu here with suspension, travel, tire pressure, tire temp, geo-coordinates, and you can basically have these be your gauges. We have your angle of ascent and your yaw, the kind of side-to-side thing. You have your compass, and you have over here your transparent hood shortcut. Now, the transparent hood is a feature designed so that you can see underneath your car. And this is available on all of our SUVs with 4MATIC, but it was really meant for the ones that go off-road. And since we are Mercedes in the USA, you can argue that that's none of our SUVs. But they're all pretty capable. What it does is, as you travel forwards, your front camera back feeds in data that it just saw, except under your car. And so you can basically see what your camera saw 5 seconds ago underneath your axle. Now, I think this thing is pretty limited on data, which is why I can't show you the full car. But still, it's kind of cool if you wanted to take this thing off-road and see what you're rolling over. Now, practical, maybe, but let's keep it going. So, that's the transparent hood, and as you can see, it lost the data again. We're just going to go in the park now. Alright, so this thing runs out of memory quickly, it seems. So does my camera. That's the off-road menu, and I want to talk about the off-road cockpit next. So, keeping it on the off-road topic, off-road is a dedicated drive mode here. And we actually have a few. So, we're going to start always in comfort. Usually you also start in strong recuperation, and these paddle shifters will actually let you change your recuperation. So you have plus and you have minus. It shows you in the bottom of your power meter, which is an EV's tachometer, I guess. And so the plus will actually decrease your recuperation. So it was in maximum, now it's in strong. Hit plus again, now it's in normal. Hit plus again, now it's off. No recuperation, D plus. They call it freewheeling because that's just what it feels like. It feels like there's no resistance. Now, back to recuperation again, minus, moved it over. You have normal, you have strong, which is where you default, D minus. It's kind of like driving a Tesla. And then you have your maximum recuperation. And this is that true one pedal drive. So when you're not accelerating, you are on full stoppage from the car. Your motors invert, and you're gonna have each motor generate negative 184 horsepower. That means nothing to you guys, but negative 184 horsepower times 4. This thing will slow you down with some power. Now, if I let my foot off of the brake here, we're gonna roll because vehicle creep is on. And that's normal because it's on by default. We'll turn it off later in settings. But getting back to the drive mode aspect of things, you can't really think about the drive mode without thinking about the recuperation style. But basically, you have comfort, which is default number 1. And using dynamic, you can go into sports, comfort, individual, which lets you program your own drive mode. You also have trail, which is light off-roading, and then rock, which is heavy off-roading. You actually have to activate it, and it turns off your traction control, turns off your lane keeping assist, turns off everything, really. Parking sensors, turns off your attention assist, everything's off. Now, when you're in off-road rock mode, one thing you can turn on is low range. You turn on low range here, it's selected, but you have to briefly go into neutral, so all the way down, move it up slightly, and now you'll see this little confirmation light above in red, meaning low range is on. And you don't want to use this on the road, but you do want to use this for your G-turn. We're just going to talk real quick about the G-turn. So, first thing, if you do want to do a G-turn, first thing, make sure you are not on paved road. Second, make sure that you put your car into rock mode. You turn on rock mode. As you can see, everything is off. Now, next thing you want to do is go in low range. So, you hit low range here. It's going to ask you to put your car into neutral briefly. So, drive up slightly. And then you can see low range is active. From there, you get two choices. One, you have your actual G trail turn. Two, you have your G tank turn. Hit this. G turn allows you to do off-road turns in small spaces by counter-rotating the wheels. Now, you have to be in drive. Slow off-road crawl is enabled. And basically, to do this, keep your foot on the brake, push this item, brings up this screen right here, pulls this here, and what they want you to do is they want you to hold the paddle, indicating the way you want to go. So left turns left, right turns right. Right hand's busy, left hand here, and then once you pull this in, give it some gas, and you spin. See? Super easy. And just so you know, once you take your hand off of the paddle, it puts you in park. So it's an automatic thing, but it's still really cool. All right, now that we've done that, let's talk about turning off low range and turning off rock mode. So one thing you might run into is that you'll notice that you can't change out of any other drive mode because low range is on. Okay, that's easy. Still in drive here, so to turn off low range, just push the button, right? No, it won't let you. So first thing, you've got to go and drive, go up to neutral, then you can turn low range off. And you're still in neutral, so go back to drive or go to park, and then you can change out of rock mode back into comfort. This whole car lesson would not be complete without the rest of the little things we need to talk about here. So down here next to your dynamic, we have this parking camera. Lets you see everything in your area, so you can see all around your environment. And this is actually a color match for some of our colors, but unfortunately you can't change it like you can in Tesla. It's a big shame because I really like this camera image. You have your 4 camera views that will actually constitute what this image is. You just can see them now individually, so you can see your forwards or your rear, and you have a 180 view that you can see as well. Next to that, you have your self-parking mode, and this mode is super simple. Basically, you go to this screen, you pass the space you're interested in, it finds it on the screen, touch the space it shows you, give it a confirmation that you want to park, and it does it for you. And I'll show you real quick. So we have a space here. Make sure you pass the space entirely so that the car scans it with the front and rear sensors. If it likes the space, it shows up just as such. Make sure you keep your foot on the brake while you decide if you want to park in here or not. If you do, you can touch the space to go in forwards or reverse, but we'll go in reverse. Make sure the coast is clear, then hit start parking procedure. Now, once you hit that, you can take your foot off the brake, hands off the wheel. Your car's going to do the rest for you, and it does it quicker than you would expect, to be honest. But it's really good at modulating the brakes, controlling your steering angle, and it knows when it's wrong. And when it's wrong, it can recorrect for you. Now, this looks terribly, terribly close, but it's not that bad. And we're gonna cut this short because I've actually made a video on this, but you get the point. It's gonna park by itself. It'll see cars near you and it'll know what to do. Pretty easy. It'll beep when it's done, and it puts itself in park as well. Super easy. And that was all thanks to this button right here. This next one brings you to the quick access mode. This is where you can turn on and off your steering assist, lane keeping assist. You have a car wash mode you can enter, but you should never, this is a hand wash only car. This is a G-Wagon, sir. But still, if you do go into car wash mode, it will fold in your mirrors, turn off your parking sensors, and bring up your forward facing camera just to make sure that you can park the car in the car wash and get it washed without it freaking out. Just make sure you switch car wash mode off before you start driving again if you need your mirrors. You can just turn parking sensors off as well if you just want the basic effect. And you have a link to all your settings here. And active steering assist, just know that that is this steering wheel up here, and it's tied to your cruise control. When you turn your cruise control on and you set your speed, your car will actually start steering for you, assuming it could see the lines in the road clearly. we're not going anywhere, which is why nothing's really happening. But when you do have cruise set, you can slide up incrementally to go up in speed. If you push it, it'll go in 5-mile increments, just so you know. Resume, cancel, pretty standard. Turn cruise control off, and it goes away after the 5th time you push the button. But that's this car menu right here, brings you here. And the last thing, or at least the last button down here, the last button is this star button. The star button brings you to favorites, or what I say is hard to reach features, usually your massages and a couple of extra items. And you can actually customize this menu. You can hold the items to move them around or remove them entirely if you need to. But that's favorites. It's also repeated on your steering wheel right here, and most people ignore it. Now that we've done that, one of the last things I want to cover is settings in this car. I want to take a moment to talk about the settings panel in this car, so we're going to do that. We're going to go quick access functions, all settings, and it's pretty expansive as in any Mercedes, but it's pretty easy to follow. 5 categories because this is an MBUX 2.0 car. You have assistance, vehicle, light settings, system settings, and info. And right away, info is going to be your best friend. It is your digital operator's manual. And in this car, you have the animations, thankfully. So you can see a video library just devoted to all sorts of features in this car. The voice is more boring than mine, but it's easy to follow.
Please note that the content shown in the following video may differ depending on the market and vehicle equipment.
Yeah, that guy uses a mic, definitely. Oh, hey, they actually did one that's vehicle.
Can detect other vehicles along.
It's actually vehicle specific. That's kind of nice.
Side and behind your vehicle, and can assist you.
You don't need me to tell you that. Let's cancel that out. So, you have the animations here. You also have just a couple of quick start categories, some get to know features. I think it's funny at the gas station. What do you do at the gas station with your EV? You know, let's see. You know, thankfully, you don't get gas here. All right, so you get that. That's the info section, the built-in operator's manual. Now, next to that, actually, starting from the beginning, you have assistance, which is your autonomous area. This is basically anything the car does by itself. And we have, first and foremost under assistance, a pain item that a lot of people will actually call in for because it's a little not where you would expect it. This, under driving, you have your active distance Distronic settings. And just so you know, the Distronic is the cruise control item. The specific Distronic is in reference to the distance from the car in front of you. But when you see Distronic here, we are turning on and off a feature called Adopt Speed Limit. This is where the car will change the speed you set in cruise control to match the speed that is on the most recently passed speed limit sign. And it's really helpful if it helps you avoid speeding tickets entering construction zones. But 9 times out of 10, the customer isn't aware that the feature exists. And so just creates some annoyance, some pain. So if you find that you're driving and your car keeps changing the speed on you when you're in cruise control, go to active distance Distronic and just turn off Adopt Speed Limit. Second one, route-based speed adaptation, is actually when your car will slow down going into turns using the cruise control. We live in Florida, so less curvy roads here, less calls about this option, but I understand that it could still be annoying if you don't know about it. Just turn both off if you find that you don't like your cruise control being changed in general. Underneath that, you have your collision avoidance section. This will be active brake assist, active lane keeping assist, and your blind spot assist. Notice it doesn't say active blind spot. For some reason, G-Wagons, in my experience, don't have the active blind spot assist, in spite of having the sensors for it. I think it's to do with the way that the car's steering rack is articulated. I could be wrong though, but you'll just turn these features on and off as needed. Active lane keeping assist, you actually can adjust the sensitivity of this feature, and you can turn on and off advanced support. What's advanced support? Advanced support means that your car will actually take action to keep you centered in your lane if you start to cross over not only solid lines like regular active lane keeping, but with the dashed lane markers that you'll see on multi-lane highways as well. So if you turn that on, your car is going to be a little more proactive with keeping you centered in your lane. Of course, active lane keeping assist only works if you're going faster than 35 miles an hour. Above that, you have active brake assist. This is only active 20 miles an hour and faster. In the US market, of course, it could be different in other places. But here, you can configure if the feature works early, medium, or late. Basically, you are just adjusting the sensitivity of that forward collision sensor. I usually tell people to leave it on medium because you don't want your car to give you a false alarm, or wait until you've actually crashed into the person before it intervenes. So medium is usually a good sweet spot, or if you hate it for some reason, you can turn it off. Now, this feature in most of our lineup will turn itself back on automatically if we're talking 2024 and newer. So keep that in mind if you are a hater of this feature. I am not, so I'm going to leave it on. Now, underneath collision avoidance, in the assistance menu, we have the assistance item. And in assistance, this is where, zoomed in too much, you can actually have, and underneath assistance, you have your traffic sign assist and your attention assist. Now, what is traffic sign assist? If not the feature that gives you speed limitation based on what traffic signs see, it's not that. This is actually going to be a speed limit warning and the ability to see the posted speed limit on the screen here. Now, if we turn off the speed limit warning, you're still going to see the speed limit. You just won't have it flash at you if you are going above the speed limit. Some people will actually have this option turned on when they pick up their car, and they'll hear a random beep every time they start speeding, and they'll call in and say, hey, my car beeps every time I'm driving. I have no idea why it's happening. It's just a random beep with no warning, no context or anything, I should say. And that's what that is. So turn it off if you don't like the warning. Next to that is attention assist, this little coffee cup symbol that you see here. It's also tied to this, what you'll see right here. So if you ever see system suspended and you have no idea what that is, it is your attention assist. If you turn it off here, you will see system switched off here. But if you don't mind your car keeping you awake, I don't really see the need to turn it off. It's actually saved my bacon more times than it's inconvenienced me, to be honest. But you can make it only more sensitive. There's no making it less sensitive. And if you don't like it, turn it off. It's your car. Moving right along. Under camera, very simple. This is where you can choose your activation points and you can delete them if you need to. If you've saved inadvertently a activation point that may or may not be at your dealership, this is where you can delete those. Underneath camera, we have parking, and we have a couple of good items under parking, actually. So, first thing, you can set your warning tones here. This is where you can play the Doug DeMuro song. You can adjust the volume, adjust the pitch. Yeah, I'm not gonna demonstrate my musical prowess here. You also can choose whether or not your audio, so your radio, fades out when you get these warnings. I don't see why you wouldn't. And you can choose the sensitivity or time of warning for the front and rear. If you need it, set it to early. If not, set it to standard. And you can turn on and off a side warning here as well. And fun one, this is the one that people ask about the most, and it's on the bottom in the least accessible space. But maneuvering assist is three things. One, it's that feature where the car can slam on the brakes if it thinks you're going to hit somebody or run into a stationary object. Your car can be preventative if this is on. You also have a cross-traffic warning for the rear here, just in case you are backing out of a space and you're in between two F-150s and you can't see the other side. Your car's going to let you know if something is behind you with this. And then above that, you have drive-away assist. And in lieu of keeping on the slam on the brakes feature, I've been telling people lately to use drive-away assist, because what it does is it just slows you down. If you've ever seen a symbol appear when you're backing up that says speed severely restricted or anything like that, that's what that feature is. It's under maneuvering assistance, drive-away assist. And I think it's a good use of, it's a good middle ground, really. Stops your car from slamming on the brakes, but it will still react to danger that's around you that you may not potentially see. So that is the assistance tab. Moving right along, we have the vehicle tab, and that's going to be your creature features, basically. So underneath vehicle, you have driving, comfort, occupant protection, open and close, and dynamic select. And first thing under driving is going to be, if you have an EV like this, your simulated sound. The G-Roar sound experience is the only option here, and it kind of gives this car a bit of a low rumble that you kind of get in the ICE G-Wagons. Right now, it's very hard to hear, especially over the air, but there's like a little subtle rumble. I think they have a vibration unit attached to this as well, and it actually picks up a little bit while you're driving faster. It doesn't sound like a full V8. You just get a bit of rumble and a bit of gravitas in this driving experience. On the outside as well. This is actually a pretty loud EV, mostly because of all the cooling that you hear, but you also hear the sound experience, the little G rumble as you go around, and it's especially pronounced when you have the car in reverse. And there's no way to really sample it right now, so you'll just have to take my word for it. But if you want it off, turn it off. If you want your car to not look for charging stations automatically, you can turn that off as well. And you have a shortcut for car wash mode here. Already talked about that. You also have a comfort item here. This is going to be your easy entry and exit feature. Because it's a G-Wagon, we don't have the fully articulating seats in this car, so it'll only move your steering wheel up and out of the way. It's not really going to move your chair for you. You can still set your number 3 position as your exit position to make up for it, or just live with it. Occupant protection is going to be your seatbelt occupant reminder situation. Lets you know if someone's in your back seat without their seatbelt on. And this is also going to be where you can turn on and off that little tug that you get when you buckle your seatbelt. Some people like it, some people with anxiety freak out, so you can adjust that however you need to. Next to that is open and close, and you have a couple of great options here. So you have your mirror folding, you have acoustic lock, basically if your car honks when it locks. You have your automatic door lock, and very important, this is not like Tesla, Cadillac, BMW, Acura, or any other brand that has automatic locking doors. We don't do that. We're Mercedes, we're old school. So automatic door lock refers to when you put your car in drive and start driving, your doors are actually going to lock. So that's when you're in drive, of course, and driving around. Now, next to that one, you have your vehicle protection. And unfortunately, they do not have the collision photos in this car. They don't have collision photos in the GLE, GLS, or G-Wagon. Why? I can't say. Oh, also it's not available in the GLB and GLA. Every car that is 4G does not have collision photos. No idea why, but you'll still get a collision notification, and you have your interior motion sensor in here. That's what this item is. And you also have towaway protection, which is what it sounds like. If someone starts to tow your car, you're gonna get notified, and you can track it with the Mercedes app. Nothing too mystifying here otherwise. Just disappointment. And then dynamic select. This is where you can choose your custom drive mode. And because this is an EV and not the AMG, you have the request at start option, it's present, but you only can choose 3 items. You can have comfort or sport drive, you can have comfort or sport or trail suspension. It's interesting to give you trail. And then you also can choose comfort or sport steering. And however you combine these 3 items will constitute your individual mode. Again, nothing too crazy here, but it's worth going over. Next is light, and under here you have your multi-beam LED, your interior and exterior lighting delay, and your ambient light settings. Multi-beam LED, this is just one unique option that you get because you have a G-Wagon, is you can choose where the traffic is, just in case you have this in a different part of the world. So they will change the low beam setting for you. You also have your daytime running lights on and off, and your dynamic low beam on and off as well. I just say leave it as is unless you know you're taking this to a different market. Don't tell us if you're doing so if you get the car from us. Otherwise, you'll be good there. Next one, last one I'm really going to go over is system. And this is where you can turn on and off your voice control, the little Hey Mercedes option. You can also choose which seats can talk to the voice control directly. You can turn on and off your online voice control in here, and you could make your online voice control be able to use your contacts. If you had this, you could in theory say, "Hey Mercedes, navigate to my mom's house," and it would ask you who your mom was in your contact book. Once you have the appropriate contact, it would pull the address from said contact and use it for navigation. But that's if you wanted to. Next is proactivity. This is your profile activation. Your car telling you that your range is low, which, believe me, you'll know. And your car telling you not to forget your phone if you leave it on the wireless charger. Next to that is suggestions. You can turn it on and off, and you can also reset the data. Then, just like that. And you can also choose which items it will use: navigation, calls, messages, comfort. So you can kind of personalize what it will learn from when you're in the car. You can also adjust your brightness here, switch your display on and off. And fun thing, you have graphical goodies which you can turn on and off here. We started doing this for the MBUX 2.0 cars. Basically, if it's Christmas, your car is going to have a little Christmas theme. If it's Valentine's Day, you'll see some hearts and all the holidays for your region. If you get exported an American car, you're going to have a lot of weird holidays that your car is going to remind you of. But you can just kind of see a little thing, yeah. You could do kilometers and miles. You can have an additional speedometer show up in your display. So if you do that, you see that. But not really needed for us. You could change your language, and just so you know, only certain languages, I think the top 3 actually, will change the language of your voice assistant. Other languages won't, and I think it also varies on the car as well, so your mileage will vary. You can choose your different keyboards, and apparently you can reset your dictionary from here as well. You can choose your sensitivity of your various instruments underneath control elements. You have different audio entertainment options as well. Basically choosing the voice output of your phone, choosing the voice output of your call volume, or the volume output of your calls. And you can also set your volume for Parktronic again. So we have some redundant controls in here, as you can see. Internet and Bluetooth, this will mostly be to connect to the MBUX hotspot, but you can also turn on and off your car's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth here, just in case you need to do some troubleshooting. And then you have your data protection, a new system pin. You can choose your time zone and format under time and date. And you can also set your own time, just in case you run late chronically. And you can also configure software updates here, basically outlining your preferences for the software updates, if they update automatically or after a confirmation. And you can reset the whole thing if you need to as well. Now, that's all under settings, super easy. And I want to tie a nice little bow on this before we end. So, the last thing I want to talk about is the driver's display in this car. And as you know, we've talked about it, this OK controls everything on this screen right here. And you'll see mostly EV related stuff. Just on your main display, you can see your range in the bottom. You can see also a couple of different calculators for your initial mileage, you'll see a couple of different trip calculators. You'll see an eco display showing you how well you're doing saving energy. You'll also see your range, consumption, attention assist, your media or radio option, and it just kind of goes up and down in a circle. And if you hit home here, you can see your different options for displays. You have a service display for your tire pressure, lets you know when your car is due for service, and you also have the ability to go over to off-road, just in case you want to see your compass, see your angles of ascent and descent, all on this display. You can also go over to assistance. This is like our Tesla Vision screen. It basically shows you what all the car's sensors are seeing. Hit the brakes come on. Hit your turn signal. Blinkers on. And it just kind of lets you know what your car is up to and how it's interacting with the world around it, as seen by your car's sensors. You have a full screen navigation. You can slide up and down to zoom in and out. Kind of cool. You have also your classic display, a sport display, which looks a little alien, but that's actually a G-force meter. And you also have understated, which is your break from all the tech. And of course, you know, you can change the color of it, and it will change your ambient lighting to match as well. It's kind of hard to see, but you get the point. I kind of like it like this just because it shows only the bare minimum. But this is where I'm going to leave it for now. Thank you all for watching, and hey, stay tuned for more.